Mr. Rapoport's back. Back. Ian, how are you today, man?
It's a little crazy, but
A
I'm
little
okay.
bit. Yeah. I mean, listen, we're focused on the New York stuff here, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to use the word scrambled or desperate yet to describe the Giants' search, but, you know, if Daboll is indeed leaning toward Miami, a couple of spots have been filled. They never reached out to Harbaugh. Peyton is unlikely with Sean Payton, unrealistic. Like, what is your sense with where the Giants are at this moment with their search?
I think they're in a pretty comfortable place. I mean, I think, it's pretty obvious Brian Daboll is a strong candidate. His relationship with Hey, guys, I'm really sorry. I have to take this call. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
All right, listen, take the call.
That's what happens.
Stay connected, and then you give it to us first. I mean, I know the network page of Big Money, so you got to give it to them as well. Maybe we can just eavesdrop. Keep the Zoom up. Don't tell them that, hey, we disconnected. All right, Ian, we'll see you. Keep it up. Maybe we can get some residue.
That means the coach is getting hired as we speak, probably.
Something's happening.
Right, a lot of those guys, that's what happens. It's you just never know, especially at this time of year. So much is going on, and that's what he's talking about, being busy. It's like it's nothing that's imminent, but there's so much actually going on.
Oh, my God.
Which is hard.
I'll tell you, being an insider is very hard. I mean, you never get to sleep like Woj with the NBA. I think he's back. Break some news there, Mr. Rapoport.
No, I do not have breaking news, but I will say this is the second time this happened to me. I was on with another radio station this morning. I got a text that Matt Eberflus was going to the Bears, and I had to hurriedly hang up and send my tweet, which I did not have prepared at the time. But anyway, so let's see where the Giants are. Right. So they have Brian Daboll, who they like a lot, who did a great job with Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He would have some alignment, of course, with Joe Shane, the GM. A lot to like about him. And then there's Brian Flores in the building today. And I know Leslie Frazier is poised to interview on Friday. I believe that is still going to happen. But it feels to me, no disrespect at all to Leslie Frazier, but it feels to me like a two-man race.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think, Brian Daboll is obviously, he would have a lot to like in Miami. And, with all due respect to Daniel Jones, I mean, he coached Tua in college. The Dolphins roster is good. They won, was it 10 games last year, 9 games last year? I think for the Giants, it is a possibility that they end up with Brian Flores, a guy who I know they kind of really liked at the beginning, and they could just end up with him by default. But I think if that's the case, that's a pretty good outcome.
Yeah, no, I think it is an outcome the Giants fans would be happy about. In fact, when he first got fired, that's all my friends were saying. Give me Brian Flores. There's no reason he shouldn't be a head coach. He's got experience and he's had success. Outside of the Giants, but just in general, but specific to the Giants as well, it feels like at some point it gets urgent for a team to hire the coach that they want, right? Brian Daboll was highly considered the favorite for the Giants, at least by our estimation, early in this process. Now you watch Dolphins Twitter, it's like he's imminent to be the Dolphins head coach. At what point from any team does it, and I don't think that's actually true, that's just what Dolphins Twitter is saying. Yeah. At what point does a team start to say, man, we just got to pull a trigger on somebody?
I mean, that's kind of why these all happen. Like, I think the Broncos wanted to hire Nathaniel Hackett probably a couple of days ago, but it's like, well, let's talk to him. Let's see. Maybe want to interview someone else. And then all of a sudden he schedules with the Jaguars. He's supposed to fly in today. And then it's like, okay, let's just offer him the job because we're not going to let him get on the plane.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. You do it when you have to. So then the Broncos hire Hackett, right? So then Dan Quinn is out, obviously, in Denver. And then he's like, well, let's make a decision on Chicago, and then Chicago chooses Matt Eberflus. Okay, well, that's obviously important. So he goes to Chicago, and then Eberflus was a top contender for the Jaguars, and then maybe the Jaguars will end up hiring Byron Leftwich today. I mean, these things happen when they have to. Yeah. And I think, if you're the Dolphins right now, and that, Brian Daboll may have a shot at the Giants job, like this would be when you would try to hire him.
Yep.
I mean, this would be the move. If you're the Dolphins, this today would be the day.
Mm-hmm. Pardon me. We're talking to Ian Rapoport, NFL Network, here on the Fan, Tiki and Tierney.
Now, so much of who you hire as a head coach, Ian, is all about who they're going to hire. Like, what's the staff going to look like? And for Brian Flores specifically, we know what the question marks are, like the things that make you a little bit concerned. One, that he got fired after winning 8 and 9 games this past season, and having two pretty good seasons down there. But it was about communication. He also went through 3 offensive coordinators, Chad Osei, and then I forget who we fired in the interim, and then Studesville and another.
He's got George Godsey.
Yeah, Godsey is the OCs now, and Patrick Graham was only there for a year. Is a little bit of concern about his staff makeup and why it's had so much turnover. Who would he hire? You know what I mean? Like, is that an MO that's out there about him that's not good?
Yeah, I would say the relationships in the office are definitely something that's going to be examined. It's going to be part of the interview today, and it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're Brian Flores, and he hasn't had a lot of time to reflect on this because it's only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
but he has reflected a lot, and I think everyone in Miami probably knew in like early December that the relationships weren't good. And I know there are a lot of things, a lot of moves they all made to try to make that better. More meetings with Flores and the GM, more meetings with the president, kind of, working on improving their relationship. So it's definitely something he's aware of. And I think the staff, certainly is a focus as well. As far as his offensive coordinator, I would say he has a couple options. I don't know for sure which one it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be George Godsey from the Miami Dolphins, although we'll see. But yeah, I mean, how well he learned from the tough situation in Miami is definitely a question. But I would also say this. I happen to like Brian Flores a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's very direct. He's very honest. He doesn't mess around, and he doesn't mind telling you the truth to your face. That is not for everyone.
Yeah.
I like it.
Works in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
works
should
for
work
us
in New York. And I would say this, Joe Shane is a very nice man, but he is not shy. And when you tell him something to his face, he doesn't take offense and he doesn't cower.
Okay.
I think he will handle it very well.
Nice. All right, so final thing, we're talking to Ian Rapoport, NFL Network here on Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. Let's just say, let's say Daboll does go to Miami. Let's say that the Giants are not satisfied with Flores' explanation of whatever went awry in Miami, okay? I mean, is it, and I know you mentioned Frazier before, and he's a great football man, but I don't think you can hire Leslie Frazier. That's just my opinion. At that point, if those things happen, is it really just a 2-man race between Frazier and Patrick Graham? I mean, is there anybody else that they can hire?
Yeah, I mean, they could open up the search.
I mean, what are they going to, by St. Patty's Day, they're going to name a coach?
Well, I mean, look, I want these all over very, very badly because it's stressful and it's been a long couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. These are just days. It's like when the Broncos were considering, maybe we want to wait for Kevin O'Connell. Like, to me, like, just 5 days out of a lot of days. So if you want to wait, just wait. Now, I don't think the Giants are going to get to that point. To me, like, if you put Brian Flores in a room with someone, like, and if you put Brian Flores in a room with someone and he's not dynamic enough to capture you, that would surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
He is very good. Certainly in that situation, he's very good. Also a very good coach. So I would be surprised if that happens. But to me, if you have to open up the search, like, that's okay. It's just days. The most important thing is to get the best coach for the next.
Okay,
10
but
years.
who do you open it up to?
Yeah, who are those names?
Who do you call?
All right. Let's say that these names are not someone they're going to have. Let's say it's not going to be Leslie Frazier or Patrick Graham or Brian Flores. Then, you start looking at some of the other candidates who interviewed other places. Kevin O'Connell would be one. Bieniemy got one interview this time. I think he would be another one. I got my big board behind me.
Nice.
Some of the names on there. You have,
Magnets.
Kellen Moore. It's not magnets. It's a whiteboard. Kellen Moore, the Cowboys offensive coordinator. You have Raheem Morris with the Rams. That would be another one. I mean, there are coaches, and I would say this, like, I will never forget. I've carried this with me a long time. When the Arizona Cardinals struck out on hiring Mike McCoy, just couldn't hire him because the Chargers closed. They said, you know what? Let's just bring in one more. We'll just hire Bruce Arians, and that worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
So I've done this for a long time. I focused on, I feel like, as much as anyone, and I have no earthly idea what makes a successful hire or not. Background seems to be, all seems to be random. So I hope the Giants hire someone, and I think Brian Flores is a good shot. But even if they have to open it back up, I think they'll probably be okay.
All right, man. We know you're busy, and I asked about the magnets because Joe Shane told us yesterday that the Giants' war room was still magnets. Magnets, dude. Magnets.
Well, maybe
Like
maybe that'll be
test.
among the things that they'll modernize.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Probably start there. Ian, good stuff, buddy. Appreciate the report. Get back in the trenches. We know you're hustling. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Coming up, so we had Joe Shane on the show yesterday, and we'll keep going with the phones for sure, 877-337-6666. I want to play an exchange that we had with Joe on our show, not the press conference, but when he was with us. And I want to do a little investigative dig and see if maybe something can change. It'll make sense in a moment. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan up until 2. That is Courtney Roberts coming up.